Howdy folks, this is Manic Mark, your real fake outsider artist, coming to you from the bunker system, located underneath the art villa found somewhere in the jungles of the Midwest. Today I've got my little friend with me, Humpy Dumpy. This is Humpy Dumpy, aka Mr. Burns. The mini pin, right there, there they are. They're right there. See him in there? See him? Say something. I think this is his first appearance in any of my videos. And that's because I usually put Hoover the Wonder Pug in paintings because I've been working on figuring out how to try to draw a pug. It's just a lot harder than drawing Humpy Dumpy. And why Humpy Dumpy? Well, Andy likes to take dumps in the house. Mini pins are notorious for being hard to housebreak, and we're going on about 9 years of work with him now on this particular problem. So I always say that when you have a pet, you should wait and name him after certain traits emerge. So that's why he's now known as Humpy Dumpy. Originally we named him Mr. Burns, not after the Simpsons Mr. Burns, but after George Burns and Gracie Allen, because Gracie was our Doberman, and then we got Mr. Burns. So anyway, oh man. I promised to keep this video down to like 3 parts. Because you got important things to do like laundry, and I understand that because my laundry's stacked up and I should be doing that instead of doing this. But it's play some kneel down and pray to the gods music. Okay, that's pretty good. And why are we praying? We're praying to the fossil fuel gods today because yesterday I broke down October the 15th, wrote it on the painting, and started a fire to heat up the house. So this painting deals with the whole process as a process of heating my house in the winter. Isn't that exciting? Yes, I thought you would think that. So here you go. It's the painting. This is the Manic Mark world that Manic Mark and Humpy Dumpy standing on. And there's the fossil fuel god hovering above the Manic Mark world with the smokestacks belching that wonderful black smoke. This is like my new double-sided painting because I can't stand to waste any space. That's called horror vacui, I believe, in highfalutin art terms. And then it's a double hang. You can just hang it and you can turn it over, and you've got 2 paintings in one. That's two paintings in one. You could turn it over, and you have my whole process. So you don't actually have to refer back to the video if this is hanging in your living room. And oh my God, I don't, there's this giant thing belching smoke, and I don't remember what it was all about. I need to go back to Manic Mark's channel on YouTube and watch the too long video full of pointless references and things that don't matter, and what's the dog and why is his name Humpy Dumpy? I don't know. And why is it so complex in the back, you're asking yourself? Well, it's complex because this system by which I heat this house is complex. It's an ancient oil furnace, which I did not replace. It's still running. Ancient oil furnace, probably from the 60s. It's still here. I designed one of the first in the area heat exchanger, and subsequently, when I've had to have it repaired a couple of times, the other guys that come in spend hours and hours trying to figure out what the hell they did. And it always ends up like, well, I wouldn't have done it that way. So you got the oil furnace in the middle, and you got the oil tank that's in the basement, and you got, this is the cycle of fossil fuel, by the way. And how does it start? Well, there's really no starting point. Sunlight, plant growth. But in my case, I'm just going to say here is the former nuclear power plant that got all up by whoever. I have no idea. And now it burns coal, okay, instead of radioactive particles. And so that goes into my circuit breaker box. And the circuit breaker box run the furnace, and the furnace sucks oil out of the oil tank that's in the basement. There's the oil man, delivery man, pumping oil into the oil tank. It goes through this pipe right here up into the furnace and burns and puts heat to the house. Well, that doesn't kick in until after, up here in this corner, I've run the heat exchanger, or some people refer to it as a heat pump. So I'll run that from about, I let the house cool down to about 60, and then I start to become really grumpy, and I fight every year not to run any kind of heat source until November. I'll run it down to about 50 degrees, and then I'll start a fire. And it's a little bit too warm to be burning a fire because my fireplace here, it's got 3 blower motors in it, and it's a big steel box. Fire, like I said, the fire's on, so I've got the fire running right now. And if it's like below 30, especially down into the teens for any length of time, the house just can't handle it, the fireplace can't keep up. So then they'll allow the oil furnace to run. And a tank of oil for me, because I'm still young enough to cut firewood, will last 4 years. Heated this way, that's why I'm going through this. Many of you do, so you understand the process. But you got to find wood, and that's not easy. I'm somebody that has some wood, will let you cut it or clean something up, or you just have to go all over to find it. It's really a pain in the ass. So then you put it in the truck, you cut it, you put it in the truck, you bring it home, a truckload at a time, and then you dump it out someplace in a pile, and then you move that pile to the log splitter, and you split it, and then because I have limited space, I have to stack it again out back down where I keep my firewood. And then when I need to bring it up to the house, I have to load it up in the truck again. I bring it up to the house, I have to throw it from the back of the truck up high over my back porch railing onto the back porch. And then I have to stack it again because there's a space problem. And then you have to pick it up, bring it in, you just burn it, and then you have to clean it up and put it out. So that's the process, you know. I have no idea what I'm doing. Anyway, I cut that out because that part was just like getting into some kind of it was just it's too esoteric. So I like to keep the esoteric stuff out and just be literal about everything. I've gone on so long that that Humpy Dumpy has fallen asleep. I like it, before I pass away, I like to be able to teach a dog how to talk. I don't know, maybe 10 or 20 words would be enough, and I haven't really narrowed down exactly which words I would like the dog to say. But no one else seems to understand it.